The 902 exam will also expect you to understand the concept of virtualization. For years, computers have been following the model that you see there. The hardware layer talks to the BIOS, the basic input-output system, a collection of drivers that control the hardware that lie underneath it. And then the BIOS, in turn, talks to the operating system. And like I said earlier, it's been the model that's been followed for years. There's basically a one-to-one relationship between computer to operating system installation. Over time, though, CPUs got faster. The concept of CPU cores was developed, having CPUs basically rest on top of each other inside the CPU package. Memory got bigger. Hard drive space became cheaper. Engineers began questioning the assumption that there should be a one-to-one relationship between the installed operating system and the underlying hardware. Truth of the matter is, the concept of virtualization actually comes from the mainframe world, where that you could set up virtual machines inside the mainframe environment. It's a bit of a waste getting a server with multiple cores in it if all it's going to do is act as a print server. So virtualization was developed, and this allowed multiple installations of operating systems to occupy an individual physical server. Each installation would access the computing resources of the underlying hardware and use them in isolation from their neighboring virtual servers. This allowed more efficient use of the underlying hardware. You got more bang for the buck, and for greater numbers of servers in a particular environment. And if we expand on the diagram that we saw earlier, you see the hardware is still talking to the BIOS. The BIOS is now talking to a hypervisor, a controller of the virtual machines. And then you see the virtual machines up on top. Operating system number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up there. Each one providing a different service for the network. OS1 could be a DHCP server. OS2 could be DNS. OS3 could be a print server. OS4 installation, virtual machine 4 there, could be some sort of application server, that sort of thing. OS5 could be something else. And they could all be a mix of different operating systems as well. You could have Linux on one, BSD on another, and of course Windows on one of the other machines. The hypervisor acts like a buffering operating system for the virtual servers. So it will allocate resources to the installed virtual machines and handle conflict resolution and prioritization between them. The physical server that the hypervisor is installed on is called the host machine, and each virtual machine is known as a guest device.